I will show you how you can create an AI chatbot for free in 2024. And we are going to create a chatbot that automatically answers questions about a business and is trained on your own custom data. And I will guide you step by step. So I will show you what chatbot tool you should use, how you can train your chatbot on your own custom data, such as your own website and your own documents, and how you can publish that chatbot on your website so it automatically answers questions from customers. And I will even give you the template for free so you don't have to build it yourself and you can just copy and paste it. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Joran and I'm the founder of Chatamize. And at Chatamize, we are inspiring over 50,000 people every month to create chat automations that generate more leads, boost your revenue, and reduce costs. And we are working with businesses from small to large and in any industry. So if you just follow the steps in this tutorial, it will work for your business as well. So here's what we're going to build. We are going to build a customer support chatbot that automatically answers questions about an e-commerce business on their website. And in this tutorial, I will focus on an e-commerce business, but this will actually work for any kind of business because we're going to use a custom knowledge base document, and that document contains information about the e-commerce business. But if you just change the content of that document to your own business, it will train itself on your own business and can automatically answer questions about your specific business. So let's dive in. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a Botpress account. And Botpress is the chatbot tool that we are going to use to create our free AI chatbot. And there are basically two reasons why I'm using Botpress. So the first reason why I'm using Botpress is that with Botpress, we can create our own flows and it has built-in AI. So with their flow builder, we can create our own flows and we can basically create any type of chatbot. So we can create a lead generation chatbot, a customer support chatbot, an internal support chatbot. We can basically create anything. And at the same time, we can also use their built-in AI to train our chatbot on our own custom data, such as our own website and our own documents. And having those two powers, so the ability to create our own flows and the power of AI, that is what makes Botpress so powerful. And the second reason why I'm using Botpress is that with Botpress, you can get started for free and then pay as you go. So they have a free plan, but if you want more, so if you want more messages or you want more AI tokens, then you can just pay for it. So what you need to do is create your own free Botpress account. So to do that, you can just go to chatamize.com/BP, and this will bring you directly to the Botpress website. And I also added this link in the description. So what you can do is you can just click here on sign up and then sign up with your own free account. Well, I already have an account, so I will just click on sign in and then click on continue with Google because I logged in with my own Google account. And then here we can click on create chatbot. So now Botpress will create the chatbot for us and you just need to wait a little bit. And then it says you just created a new chatbot, and then we can click on edit. And this will bring us to the Botpress studio, and it's like the environment where we're going to build our chatbot. So in this case, we're going to start from scratch and then click on use template. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to add a knowledge base. So in Botpress, you can go to default knowledge base, and then here you can see that we have a knowledge base. And a knowledge base is nothing more than just a collection of documents that explain your business. And in Botpress, you can add multiple types of documents. So you can add website URLs, you can add a table, you can add text, you can add documents, and you can search the web. And in general, I don't recommend using the website option because I've used that in the past, and when I used it, it actually was slower with responding to my questions in my chatbot. So even if you have like a lot of information on your website, I actually recommend grabbing that information and putting it into a document and then uploading that document into Botpress. And I know that's more work for you, but your chatbot will be faster in responding to questions from customers. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So we are going to upload a document to Botpress that is is trained on the data of an e-commerce business. And this is what the document looks like. So here it has information about returns, it has information about delivery and about delivery times, it has information about warranty, like it has all the information about this specific business. So what we can do is we can just click on document and then upload the document from your computer and then click on confirm. And now this document is uploaded to Botpress, and now it says that it is indexing the document. And while it is indexing the document, it means that Botpress is training itself on the document and learns what it contains, so what the document is about. And while Botpress does that, we can get started with creating our conversational flow. So in order to do that, we're going to go to main, and main is like where everything starts. So this automatically has some information in it. And we will just remove this. So I'm going to delete this. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to add a trigger. So basically when someone is on your website, they are going to click on that web chat button. And every time they click on that button, we actually want to send a welcome message to them. And in order to do that, we need to add a trigger. So here we can just click on trigger. And here you can click on no trigger selected, and then here on the upper right, top right corner, you can click on select a trigger and then click on web chat conversation started. And now every time someone clicks on the chat bubble on your website, we can automatically send them a welcome message. So to do that, we can connect this trigger to a new node. So this will be a standard node. Then inside the standard node, we can add a card. So the card will be a text card. And then here you want to set your welcome message. So I will just copy the welcome message from my second screen here. And it says, hey, I'm the digital assistant of e-commerce biz. I will try to answer your question. If I don't know the answer, I will connect you with one of my support agents. Please type in your question below. So within your welcome message, you actually want to do a couple of things. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to greet the user, and then you want to tell them that they are talking to a digital assistant or to a chatbot, because that sets the right expectations. Then you want to tell them that you will try to answer their question, but if you don't know the answer, then you can always send them to one of your support agents. And lastly, you want to ask them what their question is about and what they need to do. So in this case, we tell them to just type in their question below. So that's what we do with the welcome message. And then as a next step, the user will ask a question to your chatbot. And once they do that, the start trigger will activate. And with the start trigger, it automatically is set to answer questions from the knowledge base. And you actually want to deactivate this. And the reason why we are deactivating this is that you want to control when you want to send a message to the knowledge base, because then you can control what you're sending to the knowledge base, but also what you're sending back to the user. And if you just enable this, it can go randomly. So you don't want to do that. You want to control when you're sending a message to the knowledge base. So you want to deactivate this. So when someone is asking a question, this start block will start, and we can connect that to a new node, and this will be the standard node. And then inside this node, you actually want to send the message to the knowledge base. So then you can click on add card, and then you can scroll down until you see here query knowledge base, and we can drag that over here. And then you can determine what we're going to send to the knowledge base. And we basically want to send the thing that someone asked to us. So we can do that by using two brackets and then event.payload.text. And this is basically the thing that someone is asking to your chatbot is stored in the event.payload.text. So that's what we're going to send to the knowledge base. And then the knowledge base is giving us an answer, and we can store that answer inside a variable. So we can click on select here, and then we can type in a variable. So we can just type in knowledge base response and then click on create. So now we will send the question to the knowledge base, and the knowledge base will store the answer in the variable workflow.knowledgebase_response. So once we get an answer from the knowledge base, we actually need to check if the knowledge base has an answer, because it could be the case that the knowledge base also doesn't know the answer to that question. And we can check that by using an expression. So inside Botpress, what you can do is you can add a card. And then here you have the expression on the flow logic. So here we can add an expression. And within an expression, we can create a condition that uses if-then logic. So in this case, we can check if the knowledge base knew the answer, and if it knew the answer, then we're going to give the answer to the user. And if it didn't know the answer, then we can do something else. And within Botpress, using conditions is pretty technical, but Botpress knows this. So they added a cool feature. So what you can do here with the label, you can just describe what kind of condition you want. So you can basically say, check if the variable workflow.knowledgebase response has a value. So that's what we actually want to check. And then what you can do is you can just hit enter. And when you hit enter, Botpress is going to create the technical condition for you. So this is what the technical condition looks like. So that's like, it is not equal to undefined, it is not equal to null, and it is not equal to like a small space. So that checks whether it has the response. So now it checks if the variable knowledge base response has a value. So when it has a value, we actually just want to send that value to the customer. So what we can do then is we can add this to a new standard node. Then inside this standard node, we are going to give them the answer. So the answer will be just, again, 2 brackets, and then workflow.knowledge base response. So what it will do now is it will check if the knowledge base knows the answer to the question, and if it knows the answer, then we're going to say the answer to the customer. And what you actually want to do here also is you want to ask if that answer answered their question, because it could be that your chatbot is giving an answer, but that answer is not correct. So once you have given an answer from your knowledge base, you actually want to check if that satisfies the customer, so you ensure a good customer experience. And we can do that by using the raw input. So if we go to this node, we can say add card, and then inside the add card, we can add the raw input from capture information. So why are we using the raw input? With the raw input, we can ask a question and we can provide 2 buttons, but the user can also choose to not use any of those buttons. And that's really important. So we can say, does this answer your question? And then provide 2 buttons, yes and no. But it could also be the case that someone is asking another question, and then you just want to send that question to the knowledge base. And we can do that by using the raw input. So in the raw input, we are just going to say, does this answer your question? And then we want to disable the answer from the knowledge base, because again, you want to control when you're going to send a message to the knowledge base. So we are going to deactivate this. And then under advanced configuration, we can add choice, and then we can add 2 items. So one item is yes, it does. And the other item is no, I need help. And then those are the 2 options. So when someone says or clicks on the button, yes, it does, then we're going to send another node, and then inside that node, we're just going to add a text, and that text will just be, great, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them here. If someone says, no, I need help, then we're going to add another node and add a text, and we're going to say, please send an email to info@ecommercebiz.com and we are happy to help. So that's the second thing. But it could also be the case that someone is just asking another question and does not use any of those buttons. And when that happens, we want to connect this third option to the start here. So then it is sending that question again to the knowledge base, and we're doing the same check again. So this is working, but then we also need to add another option, because it could be the case that the knowledge base doesn't have the answer. And when it doesn't have the answer, you want to say something like, okay, sorry, but I don't know the answer. So in order to do that, we can add another card, and this card will be an expression. And we will set this expression to always. So what then happens is that Botpress will check if the variable knowledge base response has a value. If it has a value, it will go to this. If it doesn't have a value, it will go always to this block. And we can connect this block to another node. And that node will be very simple. So that node will be a text. And inside that text, we can say, sorry, but I don't know the answer to your question, please send an email to info@ecommercebiz.com and someone from our team can answer it for you. So now we have done this and that should be working. There's just one thing that we need to add. So before I'm going to show you what we need to add, I will first try this chatbot. So if I go back to the knowledge base, you will see that it is trained on the knowledge base. So that's great. So then I go to the main and then I can type in, for example, what is your return policy? And it actually says that it doesn't know the answer. And I just found out why. Because what we did here is we queried the knowledge base and then we saved the answer in the knowledge base response with capital letters. And then what we did over here is we used the knowledge base response without capital letters. So what I do here is I just change this to base and then to response, then hit enter again, then it improves. Then you can see that it is already saved. I will just renew the emulator so we can test it again. And then I can say, what is your return policy? And now you see that it is working. So then, for example, I can say, yes, it does. And that is working great. But there's one thing that we must add. So for example, when I create a new conversation and I say, okay, what is a truck? Then the knowledge base doesn't know the answer because we don't have any information on trucks. So it says, sorry, but I don't know the answer to your question. Then if I say, what is your return policy, which is something that the knowledge base knows, then it says, okay, this is your return policy. So that's working. But then if we repeat the same question, what is a truck? Then it will actually give the wrong answer here. Because it says, this is our return policy. And why does this happen? So this happens because we are querying the knowledge base and the knowledge base doesn't know the answer. And because it doesn't know the answer, it will not update the value in the knowledge base response. So what we actually need to do is we need to empty the knowledge base response field before we're going to query the knowledge base. So in order to do that, we can add another card and we're going to use the execute code. So in Botpress, you can set fields and empty fields using code. And there's a benefit to that and a disadvantage. So the disadvantage is we need to use code and we don't like to use code. The benefit is that Botpress is really flexible because of this. And Botpress also knows that you don't like using code. So what they did with the condition where you can just type in what you want, you can also do that with the code, which is great. So in this case, we are going to click on it. So we can ask Botpress to edit the code. So we can say empty the variable and then workflow.knowledge base response. Click on enter. And then it will do it for you. So now you have the code to empty the workflow.knowledge base response variable. So we can accept the changes and then click on close. And then now it should be working. So if we repeat the same thing, so if we go to the emulator here, I have a new conversation. So I say here, return policy, then it answers the question like in the return policy. And then if I say now, what is a truck? Then it will say, sorry, but I don't know the answer to your question. And that's exactly how we want it to work. So the next step is that you need to publish your chatbot. So you can just click on publish here. And that will take often like a couple of seconds before it's done. And now my bot is published successfully. So now I can just click on share and this will open up a new tab that immediately goes to your chatbot. And then here it will say our welcome message. So here it will say, hi, I'm the digital assistant of e-commerce biz. I will try to answer your question. If I don't know the answer, I will connect you with one of my support agents. Please type in your question below. So I can say, what is your return policy? And then I can say, okay, what are your delivery times? So that is working correctly. So the next step that we need to do is we need to add this chatbot to our website. And in order to do that, we need to go back to the Botpress Studio and then click on the Botpress logo and click on back to dashboard. And then you need to select your chatbot and then click on integrations. And then here we have the web chat. So here you can fill in information about your bot. So for example, I will just call this e-commerce biz. You can also add an avatar URL. So I will just leave this empty. You can add a bot description. So I will answer any question. You can even add your own style sheet, so then you can add your own custom styles for your chatbot. You can add your bot information, you can do a lot of things. Then you can also determine whether you want to show the bot information, whether you want to clear the conversation on exit, so I'll just leave this as is, and whether we want to show the Botpress branding, so you actually want to delete this. Then we can click on Save the Configuration. And then in the next step, we have the pre-configured, and here's the code that you need to add to your website. So you need to click on the embedded code. And then if you go to your website, you need to add it just above the end of the body section. And I will just show you how you can do that on a WordPress website, because I have the most experience with WordPress, but the experience is like the same on every kind of website, whether you're using Wix or Shopify, just custom code. It will work on any website if you just add the code correctly. So if you go to WordPress, you have a plugin that is called Install Headers and Footers. And when you have installed that plugin, you can go to Settings, and then here you have Insert Headers and Footers. It's called Insert Headers and Footers. And then here in the second section, so in the scripts in body, you can just paste this and then click on Save. And then if you go to your website, so you can just visit this site, and then here this will appear. So we can click on this, and that will open up our chatbot. So I just scroll down a bit, and it says, hey, I'm the digital assistant of e-commerce biz. I will try to answer your question. So then I will say, okay, what are your delivery times? Then it says, if you create an order before 3, it will be shipped from our warehouse. Okay, what are your warranty conditions? If your product is broken within 8 weeks of ordering it, you will get a full refund. Okay, does this answer your question? Yes, it does. Then it says, okay, that's perfectly fine. We can also say, okay, what is your return policy? And it says the return policy at e-commerce biz allows you to return your order within 14 days after delivery, and then gives you the steps on what you need to do. And you can also say, does this answer your question? Then it says, no, I need help. And when it says, no, I need help, then it will say, please send an email to info@ecommercebiz, and we are happy to help. And that's it. That's how we create an AI chatbot for free in 2024. And before I'm going to end this video, I just want to give you a general piece of advice, because you probably will think after watching this video, okay, I've created this chatbot, what now? What are like the next steps in order to improve this? So in order to answer this question, I have 4 tips that you can do after creating this AI chatbot. So the first tip is that you need to go live as soon as possible. And I've worked with my own clients for over 4 years, and I recommend this to each and every one of my clients, because you want to go live as soon as possible. Because when you go live with your chatbot, you get real customer data, and that customer data will tell you what your chatbot is doing very well and where you can improve. So that's actually the first thing that you need to do. Then the second thing that I would do if I would improve this chatbot is creating an email integration or a live chat integration. So what we currently do is that if the chatbot doesn't know the answer, we basically say, okay, please send an email to info@ecommercebiz. And that's something that you could do, but to be honest, that's not the best customer experience. So it's even better to say, okay, sorry that we don't understand you. What is your question? And then ask for their email. And once you have their question and their email, you can actually automatically send that to someone within your company, such as a customer support agent, and then that agent can answer that question for them, or even better, connect them to a live chat agent. So Botpress has a direct connection with Zendesk. So if you're already using Zendesk or your client is using Zendesk, I would highly recommend using that direct connection. But if you're not using Zendesk or you just want to use another solution, you can also use like a live chat tool on a specific page of your website. So for example, you can put a live chat tool on chatomize.com/livechat, and then you can just send your customers to that specific live chat. So that's actually the second thing that I would do. I would create an email integration or a live chat integration. And the third thing that I would do is I would look at the data. So I would look at the conversations that people are having with your chatbot and improve on those. So for example, if people are asking about the order status, then you create a flow to give them the order status automatically. Or if they want to know the balance of their gift card, you create a flow to give them the balance of their gift card. Or when they want to request a warranty, then you create a flow that automatically creates a warranty request for them. So you basically just need to look at the conversations and improve your chatbot based on those conversations. And in Botpress, you can do that by going to your chatbot and then clicking on conversations. And then here you can see each and every conversation someone is having with your chatbot, and you can just look at it and see how you can improve it. And I know that maybe it takes a lot of time, but this will actually give you a lot of information on where you can improve your chatbot. And this could also mean that you can just add more information to your knowledge base. So like adding more documents to your knowledge base is also a simple option on improving your chatbot. And lastly, I would focus on marketing and sales as well. So up until now, we only have used this chatbot for customer support, but you can actually do much more with it. So with your chatbot, you can schedule appointments, you can upsell paid products, you can give away free lead magnets and generate leads. Like there are much more that you can do. And you can create all of those things with using the Botpress Flow Builder. But that's it. Those are the 4 things that I would do once you have created this AI chatbot. And if you want to get started quickly, just download the template with the link in the description. Then you can just import that in your Botpress account and you can get started quickly. And if you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And as always, if you have any questions on creating AI chatbots or on using Botpress, please leave a comment below and I will reply as soon as possible.